How's it going, guys? So recently I've been doing a lot of lyric music videos for people. I've been putting most of these just up on my Instagram, just little snippets of them. I'm just going to give you a few examples just so you get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. So I'll put some examples in here.
I know the things that mean a lot to me. Oh Lord, I've been living how I ought to be. No buzz, know my people, they have love for me. Show off, so what's the point of living luxury with no love?
Yes, so as you can see, it's probably looks very basic. The steps to do this is actually very easy. I'm going to show you some of the ways that I animate my text in these type of videos. If this is something that you'd like to learn, make sure you stick around. It's going to be a very short tutorial, but it's going to be very useful and you can use them on all types of videos. So saying that, we're going to open up Premiere Pro and we're going to get into this. So let's get going. Right, so I have my coffee and I've opened up Premiere Pro. They're the two things that you're going to need for this tutorial. So the first thing you got to do, go over to your project bin and we're just going to create a new sequence. So my sequence is going to be a 4K sequence. Depending on your computer and your specs and like the need for this, it's going to be whether you need a 4K sequence or not. So let's do that. We're just going to bring in our song that we're going to use and I'm going to clip this song. Going to now come over here. I'm going to drag and drop this audio into my timeline. So now that you have that, we're just going to press plus and we're going to press Alt plus just to make it wider. We can do the same. We can press Control plus to make our video layer wider as well. The next thing we're going to do is come over here and we're going to press new and we're going to make a new color matte. The color of this depends on what color you want your background. So let's just say I'm going to go for dull pink. Perfect. So now we're going to drag and drop that on top of our clip and we're going to line it up with our timeline. Right, so once you've done that, you've basically the basics sorted. Now we're going to just make it bigger and we're going to cut out the bits of the clip we want to put in words for our lyric video. Now that we've extended that, we can just come back in now and we can listen to where we're going to put in each text animation. So he says get it, so I'm going to cut here. It says text message and he says I don't know the number. Perfect. Right, so I'm just gonna do a short snippet, so that's all I'm gonna do for the lyric video today, because if I don't, I'll end up doing more. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna show you for today. So I'm gonna show you how to make a lyric video for a short snippet, and you can use this whatever way you want. It doesn't have to be a lyric video. That's what I'm gonna use for example today. Right, so once you've done that, we're gonna highlight everything and we're gonna right click it and we're going to replace it with an After Effects composition. So After Effects is opened up and you can see the different layers, and now because we've chopped that color matte, we know exactly where he's saying the different words. So a little tip is to come over to our audio and we're going to use the drop down and click audio and the waveform. So now you can see exactly where he says it. So he says get it. That's going to be our first clip here. So once we've done that, we're going to come up to our text and I'm going to just type in. So now that we have that, we're going to just highlight it. Right, so this step here is where you can completely just make it your own. You can put a different font on it, you can do whatever you like, different color. So I'm gonna just show you a basic kind of style that I like to use. Yeah, you can kind of take it from there. I have get it and I've just highlighted it. So now once you've highlighted it, we can resize it. That's a good size for me. So I'm going to press on the layer and I'm going to press P just to bring up the position. Bring it down. I'm going to have it come in and stop here. Press their little stopwatch keyframe and I'm going to drag the position over here. So now when he says get it, we want it to come in around there while he's saying it. So we're going to just drag this back to where we want it to end. So as you can see, it just comes in like that. And another thing that we can do is click on our keyframe, right click it, and we can go to our keyframe assistant and just click ease in. And for our second frame, we can just do the exact same, but press ease out. Now it's giving us a kind of smoother transition in and out. So now you have a bit of movement with your text and it's being animated. Just to add a little effect onto this, to make it look like it's actually moving, we're going to add a bit of motion blur. So to do this, it's very simple, but there's just one thing that you need to remember when you're doing motion blur. So to do that, we're going to click on our text and we're going to click this little box here. But This won't affect anything unless we click over here where it says enable motion blur for all layers. So make sure that that's clicked. You can see it looks like it's actually flying into the text. So let's keep moving. Let's get rid of this. So we're gonna click both keyframes and we're going to right click. We're going to come down to keyframe assistant and we're going to time reverse keyframes. Right, so now we want to get this out of our scene. So to do that, we're just gonna come to where we want to get rid of it. Make sure that the two keyframes are highlighted and we're gonna press Ctrl C and we're gonna paste them where we want them to go out. So we're gonna press Ctrl V. So once they're highlighted, we're going to right click keyframe assistant and we're going to time reverse keyframes. So that means they'll come in and out. So let's just type text. Perfect. So now we're just going to come to text message, press P on our keyboard and we're just going to scale it to where we want it to be. And I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Okay, so another thing that you can do is click text. So click your layer and we're going to highlight the whole text. So just press Ctrl A on the text and we can come up here to layer and transform and we're going to center the anchor point. So that puts the anchor point there. So now when we scale this down, it'll scale it from the center. It just makes it easier for you to resize. And we can actually just resize this by coming up and pressing shift and just moving this out. So I think so we're gonna press our P button and we're going to click our little stopwatch. We're going to bring this up and I just want to drop this down. We're gonna move our timeline a bit further down and I'm gonna bring it down. So let's see how that looks. Don't forget, we can just enable this motion blur and let's get rid of this by doing the exact same. Control C, click over here, Control V, right click, so keyframe assistant, and time reverse keyframes. So the way I'm doing this is very basic. I'm putting in from one side and it's coming out the same side. Obviously you don't want to be doing this for all your stuff because it probably gets a bit repetitive. Just for the sake of this tutorial, that's how I'm going to show you how to do it. You can kind of take it from there and just do whatever you want with this. So let's get back to it. Right, so for this bit I'm going to add in some vertical type. We're going to come up to our text tool and we're going to just press Alt and click it. It gives us our vertical type tool. So he says I. Let's do another layer. So we're just going to come up here and we're going to just move this around. Then text again. Let's put in don't. Let's just move that, resize it. And then last, let's just do no. Let's just move it again. Size once more. Right, so let's start animating this. So let's bring up our layers. To do this, we're just going to scale this. So let's find out where he says it. So remember our color matte, this is why this is helpful. I here, so let's press I and press S on our keyboard, scale. We're gonna bring it down to 0. So now we're going to move it on a bit forward to where he says I, and we're going to scale it back up to 100. Make sure you have your motion blur enabled for all these layers. Come over to don't in your little composition panel. We're going to keyframe scale and we're going to drop that down to 0. And we're going to move on a bit and we're going to just bring it up to the size that we want. So I want it around that size. Cool. Let's just do it for no. We're going to keyframe our scale, press 0 on our keyboard and move on a bit and let's just bring it up again. Okay, cool. So don't forget to make sure all these motion blur tabs are all selected. So let's see how that's looking.
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the number.
So that's basically our video there. It's very basic and you can use it on so much different things. You could even 3D track text and just move it around the environment. Saying that, it's very easy and very useful just to know how to animate something. You can even do that with a PNG file and just animate it around something and just change the background. As you can see, it can be used so many different ways and it's really just up to you how you want to use it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you were able to follow along. It was just a few very basic fundamentals of editing lyric video or whatever type of video with animation through your text. If you want to look at a few examples that I've done and some videos that I've done, make sure you check out my Instagram. I'll put a link in the description so you can go and check that out. So I'd love if you could comment or leave a like or even subscribe. It would be great for the channel. So that would be huge and it would be very much appreciated. If you enjoyed the tutorial, make sure you stick around because I'm uploading a lot more content and I'm trying to push out daily videos or a video every second day. So thanks very much for watching and